Welcome to the Voices of Young People podcast, brought to you by Springtide Research Institute. In each episode, we hear directly from young people as they respond to our research and share about the issues impacting their lives. As sociologists and researchers, we see a new story unfolding for young people, one that moves beyond traditional institutional boundaries and requires careful attention to the inner and outer lives of emerging generations. At the intersection of being and becoming, it's the Voices of Young People.
Talking is your second favorite thing to do?
Yeah.
What is your first?
I said eating.
Oh, eating. Hi, welcome everybody to the Voices of Young People. This is your host, Dr. Josh Packard, the Executive Director of the Springtide Research Institute. Today, we'll be diving into some of our research findings from our newest report, Belonging, Reconnecting America's Loneliest Generation. And to help us do that, we have Cyrus Bissell. Cyrus, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello, I'm Cyrus. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm currently I almost said freshland.
Oh, freshland.
Freshel. I'm a freshman at Greeley Central High School.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today, Cyrus. It's a real treat and pleasure of mine to get to talk to young people throughout the course of the research, but also now we have this opportunity that the study is completed to not only get to share these findings with people, but then to hear how young people react to these findings too. And I've had some opportunity to, when I make presentations, occasionally there will be 13 to 25-year-olds, that's what we call young people, in the audience, and they come up to me afterwards and tell me what they think. And that struck me as being such an interesting moment of insight there that's how we're building this entire podcast. And this is the first one, and I'm really excited for you to be our first guest. And one of the findings that came through pretty clearly in our study is what I want to dive into with you today. And that finding is that the youngest generations in America are the most lonely and isolated that have ever existed. So usually extreme isolation and loneliness exists at the older end of the age groups, because as you can imagine, you're staying in an assisted living place, senior living, something like that, and your friends might be passing away, moving on, and so you find yourself without that sort of social network. But lately, we've been seeing those kinds of rates with Cigna and others at younger and younger groups. And in our study was the first one that actually went all the way down to 13-year-olds, and we found the same kind of alarming rates. But you're right there. I mean, this isn't like a survey. This is just talking to you. So how have you experienced or seen loneliness and social isolation, in your life and with your friends?
I see isolation a lot, actually. People tend to isolate themselves when there's nowadays there's so much stuff going on in social media and stuff like that. Younger generations find less of a need to be out and doing things because they have contact with other people on this on devices pretty much. And so that's one main reason that people tend to get isolated, because they don't want to go out.
Well, tell me about that, because so just now you said that young people, you and your friends are on social media and connected to each other and also isolated at the same time?
Because they don't go going out. They don't go out and actually do things with people. They more stay in and kind of just keep to themselves, and they tend to they isolate themselves from the real world, pretty much is what I'm meaning.
Sure.
There's also examples of isolation if someone of the younger generation has experienced...
The younger generation?
The younger generation.
You mean you?
Has experienced traumas or bullying or things such as that, and they find that they feel more comfortable being alone. And it's not healthy at all, but there's they tend to do that when they're, or if they're in such say a relationship where the person is like, I don't want you to talk to these people anymore and that kind of stuff.
Oh, like a controlling relationship.
Yeah, like a very controlling relationship. And they'll basically say like, don't hang out with these people anymore. And this person, if they like have like this, because when you are in a relationship, especially at the first part, you're in this like basically honeymoon phase where you don't like, you kind of like ignore red flags and you don't realize there's something wrong until like the very, very end. And so they'll pretty much listen to whatever their partner says. So if this person is controlling and they're basically saying like, don't hang out with these people, I want you to stay home and do all of this stuff, they will. And it might be too late before they realize like, oh, I've been severely isolated, and they could lose a lot of people.
I would imagine it's hard to make friends again after you sort of break those patterns.
Yeah. You get less socially out there, and you become a little bit more introverted.
Sure.
In a way. And the relationship doesn't necessarily have to be controlling either. Say you're part of a long distance relationship and you're constantly texting them. You don't really want to hang out with other people if the person you care about, one of the people you care about the most is like so far away that you have to just text them constantly. So you kind of like isolate from friends and that kind of stuff. And it kind of is like, if the person's also controlling, then it's kind of just like,
worse,
then it's just worse. Then you're just completely alone. Especially if they leave, then you feel like, well, now what do I do? Because I'm alone now, and I don't have anyone to talk to because I've pretty much pushed them away. And
so I know you a little bit. I've known you for a while. Are there, it seems like some of the examples that you're giving are things that you've dealt with. Are there specific instances that you can remember where you felt like you were more disconnected from friends than usual, and that you like made a decision like, oh my gosh, I've got to break out of this and I've got to try and fight my way back into relationships, or that you just found yourself on the outside looking in?
Yeah. I was in a relationship that was long distance, and we only texted and that kind of stuff. And I became disconnected with people. There was also a lot of stuff involving drama and that kind of stuff. So
not drama like theater.
No, like
just being like
people being
young people being dramatic.
Yeah, not being great to each other. And I lost a lot of people from that. And it just kind of like chunked off into like, I lose this amount of people and then I lose this amount of people. I used to go to different places. Like I used to go to this one place for like every Friday for like an outing kind of thing. And I used to have a lot of friends there. And then when I got into this relationship and when I had also experienced some trauma there, that kind of led me to kind of pull away from there. And a friend of mine who used to go there, who went there as well, we stopped being friends. So I became less and less wanting to go out there. So that was a huge place that had so many people that I just stopped going to altogether because, there was like so much involving that I kind of just like, so I don't go out there on Fridays anymore.
It was like a central place for you, and like losing that place was disruptive to relationships.
Yeah. It like felt strange, and like I felt like sometimes I'm like, oh, I really miss that place, I kind of want to go there. And then I'm like, well, I mean, I'm not going to really enjoy myself anymore because I don't have anyone to talk to. And I guess it's like it's kind of just we're kind of still like learning how to do things, and so there's still people are still not reacting the way they should be. And
when you say you're learning how to do things, you mean 14, 15, 16-year-olds like your friends?
Yeah,
okay.
They're still learning to mature. There's a lot of immaturity going on, especially with drama and stuff like that. Like usually,
well, you're 15.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. That's what I'm saying. We're still learning things.
I was like, cut yourself a break.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're still young. We're still learning things. And in that time of learning and maturity, we could lose a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so that causes a bit of isolation. And when I was out of this said long-distance relationship, it wasn't necessarily they were being controlling or anything like that. It just kind of got toxic in other ways.
Sure.
And after we had broken up, I realized how, like, I've been, like, I'm kind of alone now. Like, I still talk to this person, all that kind of stuff. We're still really good friends, but I still feel, like, alone and, like, not, like, I don't have people to talk to very much at school anymore. I have some people who I'm, like, acquainted with, and, like, I kind of just, I still talk to them and stuff like that, but I don't really, like, I don't hang out with them all the time. And so it's kind of like that where I'm like, I don't have anyone to talk to anymore, and I've been wanting to do less things, and I've kind of just been wanting to be alone.
So one of the things about the research that we did was finding, I mean, we heard from young people saying a lot of the same things that you were, all the way down, at the lower end of the age range at 13, but all the way up to, like, almost this story, I've heard bits and pieces of, people dealing with the same kinds of thing all the way up to 25. Mm-hmm. And which is at the top end of the people that we were talking to. I'm sure it exists past that too. Mm-hmm. And what really surprised me in looking at the data, we expected to find that that like young people's friends would be the thing that pulled them out of that loneliness and isolation. But what we found is that, in fact, your friends are often the cause of a lot of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because of exactly the things that you noted, and that it was actually relationships with trusted adults that sort of helped them to navigate and be this consistent touch point. Mm-hmm. To either hold them accountable for saying things. At times we heard things like, oh, so-and-so helped remind me, or helped me notice even that I was shutting myself off, or that, that I was acting in a way that was inconsistent with my values, or et cetera. Have you, as you were sort of going through this, was that the case for you too? Did you ever find that, like, adults played, whether your parents or somebody else played that role that sort of helped to at least be a consistent point for you?
Yes, actually. I have a few, not like a bunch, but like I have two. One is my algebra teacher, and it's because a couple days ago she invited me to eat lunch with her because I'm kind of trying to get out of that whole isolation thing, but it's complicated, trying to regain that confidence to, like, go out and talk to people. And so she's like, hey, do you want to come eat lunch with me? And we kind of just sat and talked, and she didn't, like, directly help with it, but she, like, also, like, helped in the way that I was like, well, like, it's nice to talk to people, and it's really nice to make friends.
Being there.
And just being there was really nice because I didn't have to eat alone. And so I felt a lot more like, wow, I have somewhere to go now. And so I felt like I feel comfortable with her. And the other person is my mom.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love my dad, but I can talk to my mom about a lot more. It's just kind of more of a trust thing for me, sure. I guess. In a way that it's like, I trust him, but you don't have to defend it. I'm just like, I've noticed that I talk to her about a lot of things, and it's like, it's not really, I don't know why, but it's kind of just like, I kind of gravitate towards her more. Mm-hmm. And, I talked to her, I recently came to her about something that had been kind of stuck with me for quite a while. Something that had been bothering me about a family member, and it, like, her just being like, I'm here to talk and to listen and all that kind of stuff made me feel really great because I was in this relationship and I was only ever talking to this person.
Yeah. And
it felt nice to be able to talk and vent to my mom, just besides this person, because I didn't want to I didn't want to load everything onto this person, and I needed to realize that this person had a lot of thoughts and feelings of their own.
Sure.
And they didn't need to hear everything I was talking about. And so, like, coming to my mom about it for the first time felt really nice because I thought she was going to defend him or something like that, but it was actually really nice because she, like, told me, like, hey, let's figure something out for this and let's talk about this more and all that kind of stuff. And it felt really great to just release all of that. Like, it was a lot of anger. I was very, very angry.
Sure.
and like uncomfortable and sad and all that kind of stuff. So it was really nice to be able to be like, hey, I can talk to her about a lot more than I realized.
And she just listened.
And she just listens, and she tries to help, but she isn't like, let's fix everything right now.
Yeah.
You know? So it was nice to come to her and talk to her about it. I still need to learn that I can do that, because again, there's still things that I had yet to tell her.
Mm-hmm.
And like kind of I was scared to tell her for some reason or something like that. So I still need to learn that like she's there,
mm-hmm.
and she's a trusted adult, and she can help me through all of this. And she's also been the one who's been like, you need to do more social things. You need to be more social. Your introvertedness is concerning.
It's concerning, but it's okay to be introverted, right?
Yeah,
but when you're
like
shutting
your
yourself off
isolation.
from the possible, like
Yeah.
I think you're right. Like that's a really good way of saying it. Be introverted, but it's bad to be isolated.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
No, that's a really nice way of framing that. Thank you. Hey, look, I really appreciate this. This has been incredibly insightful, and I think helps to sort of give some, further voice and some, I don't know, I sort of feel like it's like filling in the gaps of what, data and numbers. And even, we do a lot of interviews at Springtide, and that can be sort of, that could help fill out that narrative, but it doesn't always get us in between the nooks and crannies of all the numbers. So thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Visit springtideresearch.org to hear more voices of young people and to download our latest research report, Belonging, Reconnecting America's Loneliest Generation. Sign up for our newsletter and be the first to learn about our upcoming research and ways to take action in your own communities. Today's show was produced by TJ Birnbaum with original music by high school student Christian Unthank. Special thanks to our guests today and all the young people whose perspectives and insights make our research possible. Remember to find us on social media at We Are Springtide and share your own story with the hashtag ShowUpForYoungPeople. Thanks for listening.